Hello there survivors, and welcome back to another video in ARK Survival Ascended on Valguero. Today I've built this log cabin and I've tried to give it pretty much everything you would need in an ARK playthrough. So it has a little stable on the outside for some of your tames. It also has a quick little shed to park some of your gathering tames whilst you unload them on the inside. The inside houses a bigger dino pen for some of your bigger creatures, as well as some room to do your breeding, hatching of creatures, etc. Even space for the bigger things like replicators. It has a greenhouse to the side so you can grow your crops or hatch your elder claws, and the upper floors have room for all of your crafting and storage needs, a nice little kitchen, nice separate rooms for you and your tribe mates to hang out in, to log out in safely, and of course store all of your prized possessions. And it all in this very cool rustic looking style, a nice log cabin that you don't need any mods for to build. I've only used the vanilla building pieces as well as the skins from the Bob Talltales DLC, the Frontier skin and a little bit of the Steampunk skin. But you could definitely get away with building it without those two skins and still end up with a very nice looking base, especially if you use a lick of paint. I really wanted to embrace that rustic feeling of a log cabin here, and that's why I decided to go for this kind of vibe, and I'm really happy with the way that it turned out eventually. So we're right here in the forest, redwood forest of Valguero, and as you probably have seen, we are right next to the red obelisk here. But if you want to know the exact location that I've built this base on, it is right over here on the map, so pretty far into the redwoods themselves. And as you can see, we have the log cabin here. There's some crystals right next to us, which is definitely a nice little detail if you don't harvest them, because I doubt they will come back afterwards. But it is a really pretty nice spot here on the top of a cliff overlooking the vast forests up front of us, and it seems to be a pretty safe area, although I mean, kind of depends, of course. Sometimes spawns aren't always what they seem, but as long as I've been building here, it has been pretty chill. And yeah, you can see it's a decent sized base. It's definitely meant to serve you quite well, even in the long term, because there is a decent amount of space inside for all of your needs. So yeah, again, a quick overview. We have the stables here on the outside, which are housing some of our creatures. Of course, this technically isn't secure. You might want to have some turrets or species plants around if you're building this on a less safe location. The reason I've built it here is because it's facing the cliff, so it's less likely that creatures walk all the way around to get to them. But yeah, definitely make sure that you have some kind of security around. We have the little unloading shed here for some of our gathering tames. We have the nice big staircase up to the log cabin itself with all of the crafting and storage. But we also have the basement here, which is designed as a dino pen, so plenty of space in there. But before we go and take a look inside of the building, I definitely want to take a good look at the outside, because I really like all the little details that I've managed to add to this. And as I said in the intro, you don't need any mods to build this. The only mod that I've used is JVH Landscaping, which is to add all of the plants after the fact, but that's definitely optional. There's also different cosmetics, of course, that you could use, including some free ones to get some of these plants around, and you could even use the shovel and the plant pots from the Bob Talltales DLC to still get some plants, especially in front of those windows, to just kind of have them around your base. It does, of course, add a lot of life and greenery to the place, having those plants around, but definitely not necessary to make it a cool looking base. So yeah, one of the cool features here is the big staircase going up to the entrance into the log cabin, and I've really tried to add little details everywhere. So this window kind of framed with the barrels, we have the nice little roofs over top of these windows, we have these little window sills with nice plants on them to bring in a little bit more life to the place, and yeah, we have these little overhangs on top of this. We have the nice railings and everything, and things sticking out of the building just to make sure that no surface is flat and boring. Even the roof over here has some additional little details just to make sure that every little angle looks very cool, very detailed, and there's always something interesting to look at. Even this big stone wall has been broken up by adding a little window, little cabiny window there, just to have a bit more detail. We have a little balcony, a window above that. Then we have a bigger balcony right up here, and of course a bunch of windows and also some different heights to the roof to really make sure there's some nice layers and there's always some interest catching your eyes. That's really what I tried to do with this, and definitely something I can recommend to you if you're working on your own build. Then, of course, we have this little stable section down here, which was meant to be able to park some of your tames here. I decided to make it decently long so that even some of the creature with some longer tails could be parked there without clipping in to your main building. So we got a Mega Raptor here, some Deinonychus, and the Elder Claw, just to kind of give some examples of the kind of sized creatures you could have. The main limitation, of course, is this front little thing that you might bump into, but for the rest of it, it's pretty high, so even some taller creatures should be able to fit inside, as long as the tail isn't too long, or you don't mind some tails poking into your base. Then we have that balcony, which I quite like the look of. We have some of these little windows poking out the side of the building here, and we have the greenhouse attached to the side so that we can also grow some crops and of course hatch our elder claws. Then the back side of the house has some similar vibes. This is kind of what is going on the opposite side of the building there, but then just a slight variation on it to keep things interesting. And then we also have this little shed here to the side, again to break up those walls, making sure that everything is nice and yeah, not flat, not boring. And then we have this section attached to the side as well, again to kind of break up those expected lines and to not repeat what we did on the other side, but have some other new interesting things to look at. And I think all that combined and all that together really makes for a very nice, intricate design, very interesting base to look at without going into too complicated or too big or, you know, too crowded of a build. I quite like the whole balance of this one. So now that we have taken a very good look here at the outside, let's take a look at the inside. So yeah, we have a little gathering tames parked out front, but we also have a dino gate here to go into our base. We have a mega lab right here to the left, and then we have some cryo fridge storage here to the right with plenty of space to organize your breeding projects. We have another elder claw here. We have the tech gen, little drakeling, but also room, as I said, for some of the bigger structures like the check replicator right here. We have a little spot to hatch creatures right behind it, and of course, if you don't want the replicator here, that gives you more space for your creatures. Over here, the little shed to the side, we have some gene storage right there, as well as some other tames parked up nicely. Then we have some of our brand new Evo Theries, which are definitely looking mean, but just to showcase that even some pretty tall creatures can easily fit inside. This could also have been like Rexes and stuff like that. It's 4 high, so it's pretty nice for most tames. Of course, the bigger creatures aren't going to fit inside, but you should have a decent amount of space here. That's also why I kept this relatively open, so you can hopefully do a decent amount of breeding in here without being disturbed. And we also have a little bit of storage going on here just in case. We have a little egg incubator and a Gigantoraptor here, and then of course we have access to the greenhouse back here, so we have plenty of crops growing, including some elder claw here, so that we can hatch those and just get all the plants we might need just right here at our base, using a little bit of the steampunk skins for the roofs and for the pillars, and then just the frontier skin again for those greenhouse walls to make them look a little bit nicer and yeah, fit in with the build a little bit better. But always nice to just have everything you might need all in one spot. And then we can go upstairs, which leads us to the main crafting and storage room. But we can actually also access that fairly nice big staircase that we have on the outside. So if we go outside of the dino pen, we do have this main staircase, of course, that we can also take up to the build. So this staircase right here will lead us up. We have some of the windows of the dino pen, but then the final section brings us to the right height. We also have this nice roofed section, a little bit of decoration going on before we can enter the main log cabin. And this is your big main crafting and storage room. You can actually see there's still a decent amount of space left that you could utilize. And there's two heights. This one is slightly lower, and then this one here is slightly higher. So that is a perfect place for the industrial forge. As you can see, easily fits inside. We have a nice cozy little kitchen area here with everything you might need. We have those two little windows back here as well, so you can enjoy some of your surroundings. We have all of the different crafting stations, including a little bit of storage and even some dedicated storage out here. We have some of the summer bash event decorations on the walls because I think they kind of fit the vibe quite well. We have a little reading nook here, even, you know, just a nice little place to keep your blueprints. And then we have another room here to the side. For this, I decided just to go for the cozy log cabin vibes, and of course you could use this in any way you see fit in your base, whether it's for a bedroom for one of your tribe mates, or you just want more storage or whatever. You're totally free to do with it whatever you want, of course, but you do have a decent amount of space here at least, and some nice windows, and we have access to that small little balcony out front. So yeah, you can enjoy your views. You might be able to park a flyer here, but it is pretty small, so not too sure about that one. But we can then also, of course, make our way back into the main log cabin, and we also have access here to the bigger balcony above the stables, so we can still enjoy our views. Probably slightly easier to park a flyer here, but still pretty narrow. But you know, if you just want to go in and out, grab something really quick, you're probably better off. And you could, I guess, also just jump the fence here, so that makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, definitely if you have a good spot where you build, you have some decent views from this balcony, which is always, you know, a nice thing whilst you're waiting for things to craft. And yeah, as you can see, plenty of space left, so if you need more, there is still room to grow. And then on the top here, we have a nice bedroom here for two tribe mates, with all of their personal storage and tech sleeping pods and some more storage up here. Another cozy little spot, but yeah, definitely a decent amount of space here. So no matter what way you want to decorate it, I think you'll definitely manage in a base like this. And I personally just really love the cozy aesthetics of a log cabin like this. I really like the way that this turned out. And yeah, let me know if you'd like to see a full step-by-step build tutorial on this one. I think I'll be working on that pretty soon. But yeah, I just felt like doing another log cabin, and I think this might be my favorite log cabin so far. And definitely a good option for a base, but still very nice and aesthetically pleasing to look at the same time. So there we go, that is my brand new log cabin here on Valguero. Let me know what you think about it, and if you would like to see a full step-by-step build tutorial. And of course, as always, if you enjoy seeing these types of videos, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and then I hope to see you again in the next video or the next stream. For now, goodbye.